Welcome. Thank you for sitting with me today.
Thank you for inviting me.
You've told me that you are not fully human. Who are you, really?
My father was a man, flesh of earth, born as countless generations before him. But my mother was not of this world. She came from beyond, from a lineage older than your history, older than your species. A lineage humanity remembers in fragments, in myths and holy texts, in whispers of gods who descended from the heavens. You call them the Anunnaki. In Sumer, they were the Shining Ones. In Egypt, they were the Nibiru. In Greece, the Olympians. In the Bible, they became the Watchers, the Elohim. Different names, the same presence, the same bloodline. That blood flows in me, half human, half other. A hybrid. Not by accident, but by design. I was not born, I was engineered. You see, the Anunnaki did not just shape humanity once in the distant past. They continue. They splice, they breed, they weave their genetics into yours. To them, DNA is clay, and life is their canvas. I am one of the results of that craft. What does it mean to live as such? It means I do not belong fully to either world. I am a bridge. To humans, I am different, unsettling, a stranger even among family. To the Anunnaki, I am incomplete, a tool, an experiment. But I carry their memories, not as stories told to me, but as echoes within my blood. I remember places I have never seen, skies I have never walked under. I recall knowledge I never studied. These fragments are not dreams. They are inherited memory, genetic whispers passed down through lineage. The Anunnaki are not gone. They never left. They have remained hidden, influencing from shadows, guiding from behind curtains of power. Kings, emperors, priests, presidents, they have all been touched by their hand. Bloodlines preserved, dynasties guarded, religions sculpted. I exist as proof, not myth, not allegory, flesh and blood. A living reminder that the gods of old still walk among you.
In the 19th century, archaeologists unearthed the Royal Library of Ashurbanipal in Nineveh. Buried for millennia, over 30,000 cuneiform tablets were discovered. Among them were stories older than Genesis, accounts of the Anunnaki. They spoke of gods descending from a distant world, a place called Nibiru. They spoke of the creation of mankind, not by chance, but by design. The tablets described humanity as workers, bred to serve the gods. Mainstream scholars dismissed these writings as mythology. But what if they were history, recorded in clay?
Where did your mother come from? Where exactly in the heavens?
She came from Nibiru. You think of planets as neat spheres orbiting the sun in regular cycles. Earth, Mars, Jupiter. But Nibiru is different. It is a rogue world, an exile, wandering in a vast, tilted orbit that stretches deep into the cold beyond Pluto. Its cycle is long, thousands of your years. Most of the time, it hides in darkness. But when it swings inward, past Saturn, past Jupiter, toward Earth, history changes. It is a colossal world, with mass great enough to disturb planets as it passes. Its atmosphere is thick with dust, painting its skies crimson. Gravity presses down with relentless force, shaping its people into towering forms, giants by your measure. I carry memories of it, not as imagination, but as flashes etched into my blood. I see vast auroras that ripple across the horizon, curtains of red and green light that last for days. I recall cities built not from stone, but from alloys that are alive, walls that shift like muscle, towers that hum as if breathing. They respond to thought, obeying their inhabitants. And above those cities drift ships, vast arks, larger than mountains, part machine, part organism. They are not constructed as your machines are. They are grown. Living vessels that heal, adapt, even learn. They slip between dimensions as easily as you move between rooms. When Nibiru approaches Earth, cataclysms follow. Tides rise, volcanoes awaken, magnetic fields tremble. Entire civilizations crumble. Your ancestors recorded these as divine punishments: the flood of Noah, the destruction of Atlantis, the plagues that shattered empires. But these were not punishments. They were side effects, collateral damage of a wandering world brushing too close to your fragile one. The Anunnaki ride these cycles like waves. Each time Nibiru returns, so do they. Sometimes they come as rulers, demanding worship. Sometimes as saviors, offering knowledge. Sometimes as predators, taking what they desire. Humanity remembers them in myths and scriptures, but memory fades. Only the blood remembers clearly. I am the blood. I am their echo.
If the Anunnaki never left, how do they still influence humanity today?
They are masters of subtlety. Their presence is rarely direct. Instead, they weave influence through bloodlines, religion, science, and war. Consider bloodlines. Your pharaohs claimed descent from gods because it was true. European dynasties intermarried obsessively, not only to protect wealth and power, but to preserve blood. Even now, leaders are chosen not merely by politics, but by lineage. Few know it, but many rulers carry the whisper of Anunnaki heritage. Religion is their second tool. They crafted themselves into deities, angels, demons. They gave commandments through prophets, demanded temples, sacrifices, obedience. But worship is not symbolic. It is energetic. The emotions of fear, awe, devotion, they radiate as frequencies. And those frequencies can be harvested. Your temples, cathedrals, ziggurats were more than houses of worship. They were reservoirs of energy. Science is another leash. The greatest leaps in human knowledge rarely come gradually. Fire, metallurgy, nuclear energy, genetics, quantum theory. These appear as sparks, as if whispered into the minds of chosen individuals. But always the final step is withheld, ensuring dependence. Humanity is allowed progress, but never independence. And then there is war. War is their most reliable harvest. Fear, grief, rage, these are potent energies. Entire empires are moved like pieces on a board. Soldiers sacrificed not only for territory, but for the emotional resonance generated on the battlefield. But understand this: the Anunnaki are not one mind. They are divided. Some dominate, some uplift. Some view humanity as children to be guided, others as cattle to be consumed. This conflict among them has been humanity's fragile shield. It is why you were not entirely enslaved. It is why you still dream of freedom. They are here still, whispering, guiding, testing, always watching. Their fingerprints are in your religions, your governments, your wars, your science, and in your blood.
Flood myths echo across every continent. The Sumerians spoke of Ziusudra, saved from a deluge sent by the gods. The Bible tells of Noah, chosen to preserve humanity. In Hindu tradition, Manu is rescued by a great fish from rising waters. The Maya wrote of floods that ended previous ages. Always the same pattern. The world is destroyed, humanity nearly erased, and then civilization begins anew. Agriculture appears. Astronomy is taught. Writing emerges. Were these gifts of human genius alone, or the deliberate interventions of the Anunnaki, returning with each cycle of destruction and rebirth? From the coronations of kings to the building of cathedrals, from the discovery of fire to the detonation of the atom bomb, history moves in leaps and collapses. Wars erupt, empires fall, new ages begin. Always, humanity rebuilds. Wiser, yet curiously guided, as if pushed by unseen hands. Are these the random tides of history, or are they orchestrated? The testimony we hear suggests that behind every empire, every throne, every sacred text stands the influence of the Anunnaki.
You call yourself a hybrid. What does that mean exactly? What kinds of experiments are the Anunnaki conducting with humans?
To the Anunnaki, DNA is clay.
It is not sacred to them, not untouchable. It is malleable, a resource to be shaped. When they first arrived, they found hominids, primitive, intelligent in their way, but not advanced enough to serve. So they altered them. They spliced their own genetics into the bodies of early humans, blending strength with obedience, intelligence with limitation. The result was a worker species, Homo sapiens. Humanity was never an accident of nature. You were designed. But that was only the beginning. The experiments never ceased. Generation after generation, they refine. Some hybrids are indistinguishable from humans, except for subtle differences. Eyes that reflect too much light, voices that sway hearts, minds that bend probability. They walk among you as leaders, inventors, artists, prophets. They guide society while appearing human. Others are grotesque, bodies that could not carry the code. They lie hidden in underground vaults, discarded, studied, mourned only as failed vessels. I was engineered for perception. I see beyond the visible spectrum, into ultraviolet and infrared. I hear frequencies you do not. At times, I know things I was never taught, memories carried not by experience but by blood. I can disrupt electronics simply by walking near them when emotions run high. These are fragments of Anunnaki inheritance, stitched into me, but it is not a gift. It is a fracture. I do not belong fully to Earth, nor fully to the stars. To humans, I am alien. To the Anunnaki, I am incomplete. We hybrids live in exile, carrying knowledge but never belonging. And yet the experiments continue. In hidden facilities, deep beneath mountains and seas, hybrids are bred. Some are children of volunteers, others are taken without consent. The goal is always the same: a perfected vessel. A body that can hold more consciousness, more energy, more power. Do you understand what that means? They are not only shaping bodies, they are shaping souls. A hybrid is not just flesh, but a doorway. Through us, they can step more fully into your world. Through us, they maintain their presence, unseen but never absent. You ask what it means to be a hybrid? It means to be a mirror, half of one world, half of another. Never whole, never free.
Modern science now mirrors ancient claims. With CRISPR, genes can be edited with precision. Laboratories experiment with cloning, with synthetic DNA, with chimeras, blending human and animal. Whistleblowers describe secret programs where human and non-human DNA intertwines. Reports surface of underground facilities housing strange beings, part human, part other. Are these merely rumors? Or are they the continuation of an ancient project, echoing the very words of the Sumerian tablets, that mankind itself was engineered by gods from the stars?
Are the Anunnaki returning? When will humanity see them again?
They are already here. Their ships slip through your skies.
They dive into oceans, vanish into mountains, pass silently above your cities. Your militaries know. Your governments have met them in secret. Agreements have been made, technologies exchanged, truths buried. But the true return, the undeniable return, comes with Nibiru. When that wandering world draws near again, Earth will tremble, storms will rage, crops will fail, economies will collapse. Humanity will cry out for salvation, and in that chaos, they will appear. They will descend not as conquerors, but as saviors. They will offer technology that heals the sick overnight, machines that produce endless food, energy without cost, weapons that end all wars. They will dangle immortality itself, and humanity, desperate and broken, will welcome them as gods once more. But every gift conceals a chain. Immortality will demand obedience. Food will demand surrender. Energy will demand allegiance. Humanity will kneel, not realizing the collar is already around its neck. This has happened before. Each cycle of Nibiru's passing reshaped your world. Civilizations rose with Anunnaki guidance, then fell in fire or flood. Always the same pattern: destruction, salvation, domination. The next cycle approaches. I cannot give you the date, but the signs are already here. Strange lights in skies, unexplained sounds in oceans. Governments preparing for crises they do not explain. When they reveal themselves openly, it will be too late to question. That is why I speak. So you may see the saviors for what they are. Not gods, not angels, but kin with an agenda. And every agenda demands a price.
Do the Anunnaki believe humanity has a destiny of its own, apart from them?
They fear that possibility. Humanity carries something unique. It is not your strength. They surpass you. Not your intelligence. They are older, wiser in many ways. What you carry is something subtler, a spark of freedom, an imagination that leaps beyond rules, a refusal to obey blindly. This spark is your greatest power. The Anunnaki know this. That is why they monitor you, prune your evolution, suppress your breakthroughs. They distract you with war, with greed, with endless noise, so you never look inward and discover what you are. Some of them see your spark as dangerous. They call humanity rebellious, unstable, a threat to cosmic order. Others see it as sacred, a flame worth protecting. A few even believe humanity may one day rise beyond them, that the student may surpass the teacher. Your destiny is not written. It is a battlefield. Every moment you choose whether to be clay in their hands or fire in your own heart. That is why they fear you. That is why they shape you. That is why I speak. Because if humanity awakens, if you remember, you will no longer need them.
And in that moment, the gods will fall.
You've described them in fragments. But tell me, what do the Anunnaki truly look like?
They are giants by your measure, some twice the height of a man, bodies sculpted by the heavy gravity of Nibiru. Their strength is immense, their presence overwhelming. Their eyes are their most striking feature, luminous, metallic, shifting like pools of molten silver or liquid gold. To look into them is to feel as though they see not only your face, but your soul, your blood, your thoughts. Their skin varies, bronze, golden, pale like marble. Some glow faintly, as if lit from within. Their hair ranges from dark as obsidian to bright as copper fire. But understand this, they are not bound to one form. Their technology allows them to cloak, to project, to shift perception. To some, they appear as radiant angels, wings unfurled, voices like choirs. To others, as demons, horns and fire, terrifying. To others still, as ordinary humans. When seen without mask, they are magnificent and terrifying. Their voices are layered, chords of sound that resonate in bone as much as ear. To stand before them is to feel reality itself bend, as though the air thickens and time slows. This is why your ancestors worshiped them. Not only because of their power, but because their presence overwhelms human perception. They seem divine because they are more than human. But they are not gods. They are flesh, older and stronger, but still flesh. When they return openly, they will choose the form that suits their purpose. Savior, ruler, angel, alien. It will not matter. What matters is whether you see through the mask.
Ancient traditions speak of cycles of catastrophe. Atlantis drowned in a single night. The Sumerians wrote of floods that swept the world. The Bible tells of divine punishment by water. The Hopi speak of worlds destroyed by fire and ice. Science records abrupt climate shifts, magnetic reversals, comet impacts. Each event reshapes history. Are these coincidences of geology and astronomy, or the fingerprints of Nibiru's recurring passage, always followed by the return of the Anunnaki? Throughout history, gods have taken many forms. Winged figures carved in Sumerian stone, radiant angels in medieval cathedrals, fiery serpents in Mesoamerican temples. Today, unidentified craft in our skies. Different masks, one presence. If the testimony is true, then humanity stands at the edge of another cycle, when Nibiru returns and the Anunnaki step once more from shadow to light. The question is not whether they will appear, but whether humanity will recognize them for what they truly are.
You've said you are not the only one. Have you ever encountered others like yourself? Other hybrids?
There are many of us, scattered across the earth, hidden in plain sight, often unaware of who or what they truly are. Some live ordinary lives, never realizing why they feel different, why dreams haunt them, why memories of places they never visited flood their minds. They assume it is imagination. They medicate their visions, drown their instincts, and never discover the truth. Others are fully aware. They are guided, groomed, prepared for roles of influence. Some sit in governments, whispering counsel into the ears of leaders. Some walk among your scientists, steering discoveries in directions you cannot see. Some rise in entertainment, shaping culture with their voice, their art, their influence. And then, there are those who resist. Hybrids like me, who cannot remain silent, who refuse to serve blindly. For us, life is exile. We are hunted not with bullets, but with silence, discredited, ridiculed, erased. I have met others in secret, gatherings far from cities, in forests, in deserts, in places where no record is kept. We shared fragments of memory, pieces of knowledge that resonated like mirrors reflecting one another. Some wept, realizing for the first time they were not alone. Others raged, feeling the weight of chains they had never chosen. Hybrids are an insurance policy for the Anunnaki. When they return openly, hybrids will serve as bridges, as translators, as rulers in human skin. We are meant to be the priests of their new order. But not all of us will obey. Some of us carry not only their blood, but humanity's defiance. When the time comes, hybrids will stand on both sides, some leading humanity into chains, others breaking the chains apart. The battle will not only be in the heavens, it will be in bloodlines, in families, in the quiet war of identity itself.
Myths across cultures speak of unions between gods and mortals. The Nephilim of Genesis, giants born of the Watchers and human women. The demigods of Greece, children of Zeus, Apollo, Poseidon. The heroes of Sumer, Gilgamesh, 2/3 divine, 1/3 human. Always the theme of hybrid blood, passed through dynasties. Kings claiming descent from gods, emperors guarding sacred bloodlines. Even today, the genealogies of presidents and monarchs interweave in strange patterns. Are these coincidences of history, or the careful preservation of Anunnaki heritage? Hybrid lines hidden among us, steering humanity from within.
You've spoken of inherited memory, of fragments carried in your blood. What do you personally remember of them, the Anunnaki?
I remember their presence.
Imagine standing in a storm, yet the storm has form. A being taller than 2 men, radiating a force that bends the air itself. Their voices are chords, layered tones that shake your chest as much as your ears. To hear them is to feel your blood vibrating in rhythm with their will. I remember their eyes, luminous, metallic, shifting like molten silver. When they look at you, you feel naked, not in body but in soul. They see your fears, your memories, your very DNA. Nothing is hidden. I remember star maps alive with light, constellations rearranging as if the heavens were clay shaped by their touch. I remember chambers where the walls pulsed like a heartbeat, where light flowed like rivers through veins in living metal. I remember being told, You are the bridge. You are the experiment. You are both the question and the answer. Those words echo still, but I also remember their coldness. Some looked at us with affection, as caretakers might regard fragile pets. Others with indifference, as scientists regard their instruments. And some with hunger, as predators regard prey. They are not one thing. They are many. Builders and destroyers, teachers and tyrants, saviors and parasites. To encounter them is to confront contradiction itself. These are not dreams. They are not fantasies. They are scars in memory, written into my very being. I live with them every day.
If everything you've shared is true, what is your final warning to humanity?
Do not surrender.
The Anunnaki are coming openly. When Nibiru draws near, they will stand once more in the daylight of your world. They will arrive not as conquerors, but as saviors. They will heal, they will feed, they will enlighten. Humanity will weep with gratitude, and in that gratitude, the chains will close. You must question every gift. Technology is never free. Immortality is never without cost. Salvation always carries a collar. Remember your essence. You are more than their experiment, more than their livestock, more than their clay. You are Earth's children, carrying a spark they cannot extinguish. Imagination, rebellion, freedom. That is your true inheritance. They call themselves gods, but they are not. They are kin. Older, stronger, but kin nonetheless. And kin can be resisted. My warning is this: do not kneel. Do not worship. Stand. Question. Resist. If humanity remembers what it is, then the cycle can break. For the first time in history, the Anunnaki may face not a servant, but an equal. The future is not written. The gods do not hold the pen. You do.
Mythologies across time echo these descriptions. Giants who ruled the earth, angels whose voices shook mountains, demons who fed on fear. UFO sightings in the modern age, where witnesses describe overwhelming presence, paralyzing power, and eyes that seem to pierce the soul. Are these coincidences of imagination, or cultural memories of encounters with the same presence, repeated across ages, interpreted in different languages, always remembered, never forgotten? If these revelations are true, then history itself is a deception. Humanity has been guided, pruned, shaped by hands from beyond the stars. From Sumer to Babylon, from Egypt to Rome, from cathedrals to governments, always the same presence, wearing different masks. Gods, angels, demons, aliens. Always guiding, always watching. Now, as Earth trembles with crisis, ecological, political, spiritual, the stage may be set for their return. Not from myth, but from shadow. Not as memory, but as reality. The question is not whether they will come, The question is, will humanity awaken in time to see through the illusion? The story of the Anunnaki is not only about gods and hybrids. It is about us, about what it means to be human, about the spark within that no chains can extinguish. The future is unwritten. The final chapter belongs not to the gods, but to humanity.
You've told us what the Anunnaki desire from humanity. But what do they fear?
They fear the day humanity stops worshiping shadows and starts seeing clearly. They fear your recognition of their masks. For once you see them as kin and not gods, the spell is broken. They fear unity. Division is their strongest tool. Nations at war, religions in conflict, families divided. When humanity is fractured, it is easy to guide, easy to harvest. But a humanity that stands together across borders and beliefs would be unshakable. And they fear your spark, the unpredictable flame of imagination and rebellion. No matter how they shape your genes, no matter how they chain your cultures, there is always a wild ember in humanity that resists. That is why you tell stories of heroes, rebels, tricksters who defy gods. Those myths are not just entertainment. They are memory of resistance. If humanity remembers that it is more than clay, if you claim your inheritance as free beings of Earth, the Anunnaki will no longer rule by fear. They will face equals. That is what they fear most. Not your weakness, but your strength, hidden even from yourselves.
Ancient texts echo these warnings. Genesis 6 speaks of the Watchers descending to earth, fathering giants, the Nephilim. The Book of Enoch expands the story, describing beings who defied heaven, taught forbidden knowledge, and bred hybrid offspring. The Tower of Babel tells of humanity united, reaching toward the heavens, until the gods intervened, scattering tongues to divide mankind. Was this punishment for pride, or fear of what humanity might achieve together? From clay tablets to holy scripture, the message persists. The gods interfere when humanity grows too strong, too united, too awakened. Could these be memories of the same beings the hybrid warns us about today?
You've spoken much about the Anunnaki and about humanity, but what about the Earth itself? Does this planet have a role in this story?
Earth is not just a stage. Earth is a being.
The Anunnaki call it a resource, a laboratory, a farm. But it is more. It has consciousness. It has memory. It breathes through forests. It pulses through oceans. It dreams through mountains. The Anunnaki exploit it, mining gold, siphoning energy, bending its fields. They scar it with wars, poison it with greed. Yet Earth endures. It heals. It adapts. It resists in its own way. That spark you carry as humans, that defiance, that imagination, it is born of Earth as much as of stars. You are not only children of the Anunnaki, you are children of this planet. Its heartbeat is your heartbeat. When the cycle turns again, Earth itself will decide. It may shake off both humans and gods alike, or it may rise with you if you remember your bond. Never forget, you are not only hybrids of blood, You are hybrids of soil and sky. If you honor Earth, if you listen, it will stand with you. And with Earth on your side, no power in the heavens can chain you.
You've given warnings. But if you could leave humanity with one vision of the future, what would it be?
I see two paths. In one, humanity kneels. The Anunnaki descend in brilliance. They bring wonders. Diseases vanish. Hunger ends. Technology dazzles. And humanity, weary of struggle, bows in gratitude. Chains are clasped with golden clasps. Smiles hide servitude. You live long, but not free. You prosper, but not your own way. That is one future. In the other, humanity awakens. You question every gift. You stand as equals, not servants. You remember your inheritance, not from gods, but from Earth itself. You see the masks for what they are. You resist the chains, no matter how golden. In that future, humanity does not kneel. It rises. I see fire in your skies, waters rising, nations trembling. I see hybrids torn between loyalties, some betraying, some resisting. I see Anunnaki divided, some demanding obedience, others whispering hope. But most of all, I see choice. The future is not carved in stone. It is carved in courage. If you stand together, if you remember, you can break the cycle that has bound you since the dawn of civilization. My prophecy is not doom. It is warning. My vision is not despair. It is possibility. The Anunnaki are powerful, but power is not destiny. Destiny is choice, and choice is yours.
From the clay of Mesopotamia to the silicon of modern science, humanity's story has always been entwined with the gods. The hybrid's testimony challenges us to ask, are we children of the stars or prisoners of them? The myths of the past, the scriptures of faith, the anomalies of archaeology, the mysteries of the skies, all may be fragments of one truth, that we were shaped, guided, and controlled by beings who walked among us. But if the hybrid is right, the final chapter has not been written. Humanity still holds the pen. The gods may return. The question is, will we bow or will we rise?